Good morning, everyone. It is week 3 of our fantastic 90-day New Year reboot. I'm so excited to be able to be here and talk to you and share some thoughts and words of encouragement with you. We are in kind of the middle, kind of meaty part of the first 30 days, which is that part of the 90-day New Year reboot where you get more acquainted with your body, you do some research, you realize that you have some habits that may not serve you very well, you realize that you are well able to create new habits that will serve you better. And it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. It's about little by little behaving a little bit differently around challenges. Saying certain things at a party or making certain decisions in a supermarket that are going to little by little accumulate to create a different lifestyle. And before I tell you about the habit we're going to do this week, I'm just going to do a little recap because so many of us get kind of carried away by the details of butter and margarine and free-range eggs and sweet potatoes that it becomes sometimes about the cooking and the packing and the cleaning of the containers, and we kind of forget about the big picture. So just want to reframe a little bit and remind you of the big picture before I tell you about habit number 3. So the 30 days of real food is first and foremost about learning how to eat closer to nature. And closer to nature in the way that you will be eating, and you are already eating, foods that are raised or grown or gathered. They're not foods that have been manufactured. And the quality of your food starts to become really important here. You will start to become more and more sensitive, kind of from the inside out, about where your food comes from. And you naturally find yourself more at farmers markets. You naturally find yourself more in the organic section of the supermarket. You naturally find yourself planting maybe some seeds that will let you grow some food this coming season. And this is sort of a natural survival mechanism that all of us have inside. We are a part of nature, even though we have these, boxes that we live in and the boxes that we drive in and the boxes that we go to work. We've also put our food in boxes, right? It's kind of a weird concept, but we've sort of isolated ourselves from nature. And there's laws of nature that always apply. So if you are overgathering, if you are having too much, if you are having too much of the wrong stuff, if you're eating foods that, like in the video we sent on Saturday and the couple of videos that are in the Facebook group, if you're eating foods that hijack your brain and change your behavior, you are separating yourself from nature. The 30 days of real food is sort of like this little reset button that goes, bam, remember that you're also a part of nature. Remember that you have the same instincts that a squirrel has or the same instinct that a wolf has. And can you start becoming friendly with those instincts? And can you start recognizing when your behaviors are being bossed around or moved around or hijacked, whatever verb you want to use, by an industry that has created foods for profit instead of you having a food behavior that's based on a season or based on a time of year. And nothing flowers all year round, right? So we have these desires to eat certain foods in winter, certain foods in summer. Most people are completely divorced of that. And you will notice the more real food you eat, the more you will have a really sharp understanding of, do you want an apple or do you want a pineapple today? Do you want a strawberry or do you want a baked pear? And these voices of your instincts are going to get louder and louder. And Yes, maybe sometimes you will eat several tablespoons of honey, and that may also be something coming from the inside. You may be lacking some nutrients, but this will never be as detrimental as several boxes of Oreos. Nothing against Oreos. But it's just the behaviors that our biology is forcing, it's kind of prompting us to have when we satisfy them with meals or foods that are not of nature. We don't solve the problem. We don't meet that requirement at all, right? So we're sort of in these habits that we're trying to band-aid the need, but we never really meet the need. So think of that. The next time you're making your breakfast, you are getting close to nature. The next time you go to the farmer's market, you are becoming more familiar with who you are on the inside. And this is super cool because we're just talking about food. Another thing that the 30 days does is it really gives you a break from some habits that have gone on autopilot. Do you remember how sometimes you just go to work and you're driving and you get there and then you get out of your car and it's like, I don't really remember getting here. Roland talked the other day about how maybe we make about 5,000 small decisions a day. So certain things that we do often, our brain tends to put on autopilot so that we don't have to make a decision. You know what to do. You've done this a million times. The problem is that when we are on autopilot about what's for breakfast, when we're on autopilot about the donut at work, when we're on autopilot about after work going through the supermarket and eating a Snickers bar while shopping, this does not serve you long term. And you don't know that you're on, on autopilot. You don't know that you're on autopilot because that's what autopilot is. You don't participate. So as we come in as coaches and we say, for a month, we're not going to do these behaviors. We're not going to eat these fried foods, or we're not going to eat packaged food. Every time you go to do that habit, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Why am I reaching for this? I'm not doing this right now. I'm doing something else for myself. And so this allows you to on autopilot behaviors that may not be serving you well. Another thing that the 30 days of real food allows you to do is to not be so black and white about behaviors and to just do your best. Just do your best. We are, in essence, reframing the word failure. We live in a culture that's incredibly kind of like fast and very instant gratification. I will sometimes have students that come into my office and they may have back pain or knee pain, and they ask me how many sessions before my pain goes away. And I ask, do you know how pain works in the brain? We may be dealing with stuff that's 30 years old. You may be better in one session because we've done exactly what your body needs, but it may take many, many sessions before we know. And is it worth it to you to be 30% better? Or do you want to be 100% better tomorrow? And people have a really hard time with this concept when I'm honest with them. And when I say, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know that we can meet and we can explore movement in your body and we can see what your nervous system does with that. And so we don't get attached to the result, which is I want to be pain-free. We explore and we have these fantastic sessions of movement where you find skills, and the nervous system loves that. And we live in this culture of instant gratification where it's like, okay, I'm on this plan and I'm on the scale and my goal is I want to lose 60 pounds and I'm looking at the scale and it's just at 2 pounds and now I'm discouraged. And because I'm discouraged, I'm going to go and I'm going to have a cookie. So we talked on Saturday how sometimes the same behaviors that we're trying to become free of are the behaviors we do when we feel down. And go ahead and have that cookie. I'm fine with that, and I hope you're fine with that too. But then after that, let's reframe this. Let's not call this failure. Let's look at it as we're gathering data. We are discovering something about you. Just like my clients, they bend over to get a box of Christmas ornaments and their back tightens up, right? We're discovering something about a behavior. And what we're discovering here is that you had the cookie and then you sit down and you ruminate and you feel guilty and you feel horrible and you beat yourself up and you say, why can't I do anything right? So we're discovering what you do. What do you do to yourself? How much are you adding to your suffering with those thoughts? So in the 30 days of real food and in the 90-day reboot, we don't believe in failure. We don't believe that it exists. We have behaviors that serve us, behaviors that don't serve us. And when you do a behavior that you know doesn't serve you, what do you do with that? Do you go, I wonder why I had that cookie? Now as I track back, it was a really stressful day at work. And honestly, for the last 2 weeks, I've eaten greens and kale, and I haven't had anything at Starbucks, and I've only lost 2 pounds. And that makes me sad, or that makes me disappointed, and the cookie helped a little bit. So we go back to, what is your expectation? Instead of going, I expect 10 pounds every week, or I expect that my nose will stop dripping as soon as I stop eating gluten. People have all sorts of expectations. Look at your expectations. And instead of being disappointed that your expectations aren't being magically met right away, look at what your body is doing. Look at what your body's able to do right now. So your body's able to drop 2 pounds in 2 weeks. That is fantastic. We've had people that started the 30 days of real food. They haven't had enough protein in a while, like 5 years, right? They haven't had healthy fats. They haven't had fruits and vegetables. Their body goes through this huge change, right? Huge change. They may build a whole bunch of muscle the first several weeks because they've been under eating. So while you're eating all of your meals out, you may be under eating. Some natural things that you need, you're not getting. So your body may decide to build a bunch of muscle with that, right? So the scale may not move. But instead of being attached to the result, look at what you're learning. Look at the process. Look at what's enjoyable about it. And look at community. Look at support. Look at how we're there for each other. As one person comes in on the Facebook group and shares something, how supportive everyone has been. As one person is sharing their challenges and, traveling, having someone sick in the family, how everyone gathers around to say good job. And I thank you for being there for each other, because community is how we're supposed to function. Community is how we're supposed to live. We're not supposed to live isolated lives. And in the 90 days, you're learning to count on others to pick you up when things are not going well. Count on us with Roland, and count on the whole community of people on the Facebook page and via email. And this is so powerful. It's so incredibly powerful to stop putting all the responsibility on you, to stop carrying all the weight, and to kind of share the weight a little bit, literally. So the last thing I want to say about the 30 days of real food is that even though it seems limiting, it's probably still an incredibly rich and varied way to enjoy different foods. So in the process, not being attached so much to the end goal, but in the process of it, can you learn where the joy is from trying something new? Whether it's a new recipe or it's a roasted artichoke that you've never done before. Oh, I've always steamed artichokes and now I'm roasting. This is pretty cool. You are learning new skill, and with that, your brain is also changing. You are getting some cognitive benefits, right? And who doesn't want to get smarter as they're getting older? I'm in, right? You're walking. We're getting you to walk. Habit 2, right? Walk, 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 walk. And walking beats stress better than medication. Walking helps you reconnect with nature. Walking helps your bones. Walking helps your internal organs. It helps your heart. And there's cognitive benefits from walking, right? You technically get smarter. You're able to learn more. You're able to retain more. After a lifetime of inflammation and stress, some people are really struggling with concentration, with memory, even with the ability to look at their day and not be overwhelmed. Go take a walk. Take a 10-minute walk. It does get much, much better with time. So at the end of this little video that I meant to be 3 minutes and is now 15, what is the next habit? The next habit is become a food detective. I wish I had a cool hat right here I could put on. But imagine my imaginary Sherlock hat. And we're sending you, in the same email as this video comes, a PDF file of a couple of really, really good articles that Roland wrote about how to learn about ingredients and nutrition labels and what's on a nutrition label, right? On nutrition labels, we still don't have sugar. We're going to talk about that in a couple of days. We'll send you another video around Wednesday or Thursday. But you'll learn about sugar. You'll learn about, and when I say we don't have sugar, we still don't have a percentage of the daily requirements of sugar, but that should change this year because the government has some new recommendations. But you'll learn about ingredients. You'll learn about carbs and fats and serving sizes and fiber, and it should be really, really helpful. Now, at the end of this week, whether on Saturday or Sunday, those of you that are not local here in California, we are going to send you out to the store with a mission to take a few pictures for us. So you take pictures of some foods that have fantastic labels and some foods that don't. So we're going to kind of ask you to find those Franken foods that we talk about in the article, and also find some lovely foods. So we'll have you do that, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe you'll compare a couple of different yogurts. We'll see how we shape this homework for you. Those people who are local here, we're going to do a Trader Joe's tour. So we will show you some of our favorites. We'll also show you some things that are probably have too many ingredients and too much sugar that you probably didn't think was like that. And so that's it. This week, habit 3, become a food detective. All you need to do is read that article and start paying attention. And your actual task this weekend will be to go to the supermarket and do some detective work and take some pictures, some espionage. So thank you all for listening. I really hope that you have a fantastic week 3. I look forward to communicating with everyone on the Facebook page and via email. Stay connected, stay a part of the community. If you don't need to be supported by the community, know that, oh, I'm doing fine, I'm good, I've done this 10 times before. That's great, so have I. But even if you don't need the support of the community needs you. And when you come in there, when you support somebody, nothing feels better than spending 2 minutes of your day making somebody else's day brighter and easier. Thank you all. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and let's keep going strong.